YouTube, Quinn Wade coming to y'all with that basketball analysis on analysisplayground.com and on YouTube. We gonna talk about the top five point guards in the honorable mention. The honorable mention is Tyrese Halliburton. This guy helped the Indiana Pacers get to the NBA conference finals where he had a regular season where he averaged 20 and 10 and he was able to get to the rim. He was able to make the free throws, able to make the threes. He was able to step his game up in clutch moments and be that all-star caliber player that we knew he could eventually be. I was high on Tyrese Halliburton coming out of college. I liked how he played in high school. I liked how he played in college. I knew that he could be a very special player and definitely a starter in the NBA, and he ended up becoming just that. And he became an all-star not too far after being traded from Sacramento to Indiana. He has the ball in his hands more. He has more decisions that he can make. He has more plays that he can do because they trust him, and that's what you want is trust in your point guard to be able to run the sets, to run the offense, hold everybody accountable, including himself, and be responsible for handling the ball and making the proper decisions and putting you in winning predicaments. And I feel like Tyrese Halliburton has been able to do that on every level, and it's good to see him do that also at the NBA, which I'm not surprised about, but I am happy for him that he has been able to live up to his own expectations, as including what he has also felt that he should be as a player. And it's good to see a guy like Tyrese Halliburton have the numbers and have the success that he has been having in the NBA. And all I can really do is say is I'm proud of him because as a guy that believed that he can do it and seeing him doing it in actuality is very impressive, especially because the Eastern Conference has really been getting better and they showing you that they can compete with anybody in this conference, whether it's the Celtics, whether it's the Bucks, or whether it's the Knicks. They showing you that they're just as good, especially after the addition of Pascal Siakam to the team. It shows you that when you have one star, you can gain others, and then it's just time to take advantage of what you have and try to make the best of it. And I feel like Tyrese Halliburton has understood that from the beginning, and he shows you how to value possessions. He shows you that he can knock down big shots, and he's not going to shy away from those moments, even if he has to pass it up or he has to run a set for somebody else and make sure it's executed properly. Tyrese Halliburton can do all those things for you, and I can eventually see him being a top five point guard within the next 2 to 3 years if he can keep it up. Because veterans like Damian Lillard make it tough for you to take their spot, and that's the fifth spot is the fact that he's still holding on. He hasn't cheated the game. He plays the game the right way. He still is logo Lillard, and he showed that at the All-Star game, and he showed that in the first round versus you know the Pacers, and it just shows you that Dame is going to be consistent. He's top 75 all time. He's not that much older than some of these other guys on this list, and even though he's older than a guy like Tyrese Halliburton and other guys on this list, it shows you that he can still modernize his game and still step up in those moments and still value those positions like other point guards have done and still be able to be great at no matter what you put on him, what you try to do to him. He has the ability to figure it out, and especially on the offensive end, when it comes to making shots, he's one of the most clutch and one of the best shot makers in NBA history. And it's just facts at that point, and he continues to prove that, averaging 31 points per game in the 4 games that they played in the playoffs, showing you that it's not my fault. I'm doing my part, but I'm also going to hold my teammates accountable next year to make sure we can get over this hump. And that's what he has to do. He has to show and lead by example. And I feel like Dame has always been that guy where he will show you that he's exciting, he's fun to play with, he makes big plays, he makes big moves, and he's also amazing at sharing that with his teammates. So I love everything I done seen out of Dame. I'm happy that he gets to play on a contender. This increases chances of winning a championship again. And this is the best team he has played on in a while, and it's good to see him happier, and it's good to see him still trying to compete for that championship because that's the only thing that he's really missing from his career besides like an MVP or something. But I think those days are pretty much over because he went to another player's team, and that means he's going to have to be the one that adjusts. But if we going based off how the adaptation has been and how the adjustments that he had to make to fit in with this team, he has done a great job at it. It's not perfect. It still needs some work, It still needs some things to be ironed out and smoothed out. But other than that, Dame has been a great teammate his whole career, and I think that that'll continue. Number four, Ja Morant. He was injured a lot and he missed a lot of games because of suspension. But when it comes to talent, when it comes to dominance, Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies are usually one of the best teams in the league each and every year that he's healthy. And he has been healthy outside of the surgery that he had last year and the knee damage that he ended up getting. But he still shows you that he has the work ethic to get to where he needs to be on the court, and he hasn't made any excuses even when he was injured and came back from injury, and he was always ready when it was time for him to go. And he is a guy that can get you 25 to 30 points. He can get the assists, he can put on the show, and he also is great at finishing around the rim, and he's a solid free throw shooter. So Ja Morant does a lot of things right for you, and the team has followed in his footsteps, and he has led them, to a place that people didn't think they'd be going to so early, and that's the number two seed in the Western Conference, and they have done that a couple times, and people feel like all these months that still has to go, which is August and September before training camp. We looking at a more healthier, more rowdy, more aggressive Ja Morant again. I think that that could be a good thing for the Memphis Grizzlies because that's all we know him to be. But if he can simplify his game just a little bit more and avoid some of those bang bang calls or them bang bang injuries, then we can see him have one of the top 100 greatest careers in the NBA history. Other than that, if it ain't injuries, there's nothing holding back Ja Morant. He's an aggressor. He's a talker. He's a finisher. He comes at you like a bull and or a boar or like a lion. The guy is just strong and just physical. When it comes to his play style, and when you look at the numbers, he backs it up, and you look at the record, he backs it up, and that's all you can really say about Ja Morant. He gets it done just like other guys on this list. And number three, Steph Curry. The team success is going down because the team ain't playing as well. Steph is not playing at his MVP, dominant scoring champion level, and it's not because he isn't the same aggressor. It's just he doesn't have the same burst. He doesn't have the same speed, and he's relying a lot more on that jump shot, which he should because he's getting older, and you don't really want to get injured. You don't really want to ruin your opportunity to make the playoffs again. And if you get injured, that helps you not make it like we done seen last year. He needs to give his body a break. He needs to give his body a rest. He needs to continue to put in the work that we know he can put in. We know that he's the greatest shooter ever. We know that he's a solid facilitator, not great or amazing. We also know he's not the best defender, especially because he's losing some steps because he's getting older, and he never was a huge athletic person anyway. But he has the finesse game. He has the IQ. He has a great feel for the game, so he'll figure out any challenge that he needs to figure out to be great, and that's something that we can't question when it comes to Steph Curry. He's a genius. He's a guy that can be an offensive genius too, and he has guys like Steve Kerr and Draymond Green that's going to always try to find a way to keep him looking good, keep him looking special, and keep him, looking fancy on the court. And we know he also wants the same. So I can see them negotiating and finding ways to always make Steph look great, even as he ages gracefully in the NBA. But as of right now, it's not too many point guards or too many players in general that I would take over Steph Curry. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, they say he played point, so by him averaging 30 and leading the Oklahoma City Thunder to the number one seed in the Western Conference, and the fact that he can get the assists and the rebounds, and he's a solid defender, and he's virtually unstoppable on a basketball court, gives you more reasons to have Shea Gilgeous as one of the best, if not the best, point guard eventually in the league. And obviously, nobody's giving up spots. Nobody's just giving it to you. You have to earn it. You have to work for it. And Shea has shown that he's a leader. He shows that he's a leader by example. He's not the most vocal guy, but he gets the job done, and he shows you how to make your job easier since he's the one that's distributing the basketball. And I feel like he is that high level guard that can see over the top of the defense. He can bend defenses. He can break down anybody off the dribble. He has the mid range. He has the ability to knock down threes. He has the ability to continue to get to the free throw line because the guy is virtually unstoppable, and he has shown that his entire career. He just took it to another level because the game is more simple for him because he's been doing it for a while, and he knows the shots he wants, and he knows the shots that he's trying to get, and he knows when to pass if he doesn't have a shot available, and that's the way he likes to attack defenses, and it has been proven to be successful in the NBA so far. And all I can do is continue to see the success that's going to be right in front of us. If he stays healthy, these are going to be around what he's going to do on a yearly basis, especially if he stays healthy. And that just shows you that he's one of the best, if not the best guard in the league. But it was just one more person that took his game to another level and put Shea at number two, and it's Luka Wonderboy Doncic. I know I'm not the craziest Luka fan, but I'm going to respect the guy because it's hard to carry a team to the finals, especially under 26. It's hard to average 30 plus points a game, but he did that too. It's hard to get the triple doubles when you have to score so much, set so many guys up, and still get the rebound, still run the offense, still get the big shots, still put your team in the predicament where they can win, still put your team in a predicament where they're in the NBA Finals, and you're still trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and showing you that you're still ahead of schedule for most young players. And yeah, his team isn't the greatest. Yeah, they don't have the biggest names, but he didn't use that as an excuse. He still went out there and competed and led this team as far as any other guy can lead them to. Either you're the champion or you're not, and they came close, so they're not. But nobody expected them to get to the finals anyway until it actually happened. Most people had Denver, most people had Minnesota, most people have OKC coming out the West, and he beat Minnesota and a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder as an upset, and it's just because his leadership and how well he played. Now, he had some funky games and he had some bad games, mostly in the playoffs, where he didn't look good, and he said it himself, I let Kyrie and these guys down. He knew that he had to be accountable. He knew that he had to be responsible. That's maturity. He did complain about a lot of calls. He did try to continue to run into defenders to draw a foul instead of trying to score and finish. That shows you that he's a little slower. He ain't as dominant as we thought that he could be against elite competition and elite defenses, but he still showed you that you can have a chance if you have him on your roster to complete this run if you have the right roster built around them. And that's what happens when you're a franchise savior. We're not saying that you're going to do it, but we believe that you can do it. And he has showed you that I'm not that far. If you got this type of team around me, I'm not that far from helping y'all get one. And if you put the right teammates that want one too, and the right defenders and the right scorers, maybe they can help me help y'all get a championship again in Dallas. And he reminded me of Dirk. Dirk wasn't the fastest, quickest guy, but he still can get his 25 to 30. He still can be clutch. He still can take over games. He still can be solid defensively. He still knew when they needed him to be out the way and when they needed him to take over a game. And I feel the same thing is happening with Luka. He can take over early. He can take over late. He can give you a cushion so y'all can clean out, the game with a run or have a big enough lead to where it's not as much pressure to win, and then y'all just win because y'all had a bigger lead and y'all just coasted to victory. Or you can have a guy like Kyrie step up and be the closer and let Luka make sure everything goes the way it's planned to go offensively. Whatever you want to do, Luka Doncic has shown that he's able to do multiple type of styles, and it's hard to guard him one-on-one, and he just figures out what to do, whether it's scoring or passing or just being a guy that just takes over the game. And he has all those intangibles and he has all those abilities, and it's just special to see him play basketball and get this type of success so early on in his career. But he put the work in, he earned it. He is the best point guard in the league, and it's not miles ahead of Shea or Steph. They right there, but you also do have to give him his credit for doing it younger. And I know Steph did it at a young age too. I know Shea, accomplishing some crazy thing, having the youngest team to be first overall seed, having the first team get out of the first round, and then they're gonna have the same type of situation next year. But Luka has been able to do a little bit more than most people, and you have to give him his credit whether you like it or not, because it's facts at this point. And his style just works, and there's nothing we can do but see and witness greatness when he's on the court. Even if it can look a little ugly and a little sloppy, he still shows you he can win games and lead teams to winning games, even if he's overseas and now currently in the NBA. Now we just have to wonder, can this boy lead this team to a championship? And that's the play on words when it comes to his name overseas, when it comes to Wonder Boy. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell. Also, if you're new to the channel, watch my older videos. If you actually been subscribed, still check out my older videos because you might see something you liked or you might have missed or you probably didn't see it because I dropped multiple videos that day. Other than that, Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, signing out with that basketball analysis, and see you guys later.